I go by the name of Skyzoo, that's better. For those who don't know, and this is my man llmind.
What up, what up?
The reason why we called the album Live from the Tape Deck, we wanted to make what we felt was like a 2010 cassette tape. And to everybody here, I mean, we all over the age of 21, I think. So in one way or another, we remember cassette tapes. I definitely remember cassette tapes. I spent way too much money on them. But I'm sure everybody else in here does as well. And if you knew a tape, you knew you had a favorite side. Or even if you didn't have a favorite side, you knew it was a certain side that represented one thing and the other side represented something else. Like I knew with Ready to Die, side A was like just real raw and just spitting, but side B was like real emotional, you know, everyday struggle and suicide thoughts, things like that. And the same thing with like Nas, Illmatic, you know what I mean? So we wanted to make something where it was as close to a cassette tape as possible. So that's why it's only 12 songs. So why the length of the album is definitely a full album, but it's not, you know, an hour and a half or something like that. You know what I mean? But we wanted something that represented a tape. And you'll see once we get to like track 7 through 12 how the gears shift as far as the content and what the album's about. When I did the album, I wanted to base it around some type of theme, even though it was really just about beats and rhymes. So being that it's the summer, being that I'm from the borough of Brooklyn, I kind of loosely themed the album around Do the Right Thing, which is like one of my 3 favorite movies of all time. And so throughout the album, you'll hear little skits from Do the Right Thing that lead into the album. I mean, that lead into the record that's coming next and kind of helps you get a better understanding of it. So, you know, this is one of those moments.
Yeah, this was just one of those beats that I just had fun with, you know. It's a lot different from my usual style, but, you know, I just wanted to do something that bumped in the Jeep, and it worked. People like it, so.
Yeah. I can't even front, the idea came from Drew High. So everybody make noise for Drew High for coming up with the idea.
Yeah.
We was on the phone and he was like, yo, you should do an album with llmind. And I was like, yeah, I should. And then I called him and then he was like, yeah, we should. And that was how it happened. So Drew really orchestrated this.
Yeah, Drew emailed me too. He's just like, yo, I do an album with Skyzoo. I emailed him right back, like, yo, let's go.
So, you know, CEO, A&R, double hats and all that. But,
you know, me and Skyzoo already had a history of working together. We had about 5 or 6 songs that we've done in the past 3-4 years. So I kind of knew what I wanted to get into going into the project, but I really didn't want to do an album with songs based on what we did already. So I wanted to do something a little different without going too far left. The whole concept, Live from the Tape Deck, we tried to play it off of kind of, you know, giving you that analog feeling. So I used a lot of, you know, old analog synthesizers from the 90s and tried to keep that analog sound but still update it. So that's kind of the sonically the goal for the album. And we about to get it going.
I was in the studio writing and the phone rang and it was my man who was doing a bid. And I don't know if anybody ever spoke to somebody who's locked up, but when the phone rang, when you pick up, it doesn't do anything till it hears a voice. So when you say hello, then you hear a voice that says please hold, and then the person comes in. If they don't hear a voice, if the phone keep ringing, it doesn't go through because they got to pay for that call. So that was my man calling me and was like, yo, what up, da-da-da-da, and you know, the whole deal. So it automatically went into the record. Like I was in the middle of writing the record and that happened. I just threw it right in. Like all I know is phone calls, please hold, was kicking Sky, going to 60 seconds, hear the phone beep, minute chime. Like every minute the phone beeps because they counting the minutes so they know how much money they got on their books to pay for it. So like all that stuff happened, man. And shout out to my man Amadou in the back. If y'all don't know Amadou got the mixtape spot across the street, 14th to 6th. Amadou was the first dude that ever put my mixtapes up. Amadou's spot was like the size of a closet, but he was he's the biggest mixtape dude in New York. Like I personally saw K-Slave, Big Mike, Clue, everybody drop off tapes, and Amadou was the first person ever in New York to take my tapes back like in 04, like to take my tapes, and nobody knew who I was. I had no big name production. He used to take my tapes, put them up for $5, and now he here holding me down. That man has never done me wrong a day in his life. Shout out to Amadou for keeping the mixtape game alive, for real. He runs the mixtape game in New York, for real.
All of this is the obvious. I was just lining up, and now they wanna bring the 90s back. That's okay, cause that's where they designed me at. And so